Shalom, this is Mary Omni from the World Government House of King David, Holy Covenant Constitutional Enforcer. This is a Republic Notice. The title of this Republic Notice is called Internet Junk equals the United States is a corporation and this myth of two constitutions. Now, a lot of people pretend that they know a lot, and really they don't know nothing. You know, we're living in an age of the more you know, you better consider the less you know. See, know-it-alls really don't know nothing. This is why I'm telling you, all knowledge is from God Almighty. When you keep understanding that all knowledge is from God Almighty, it improves your critical thinking. Now, these people think they can pull knowledge out of their necks and their third dimensional brains and, put splices and pieces together and, they pretend they smart as all get out, especially a lot of white people. They pretend they smart, but then they act like they don't know what a republic is in their white herd majority that they try to claim constitutionality under. See, they got a dual mind of where they saying they're intelligent, but they don't seem to know a republic is not a white herd majority. Okay? So this brings us to this title of this internet junk of the United States being a corporation and this myth that we got two constitutions. There's also a myth that President Lincoln sold out. But let me get first to what the title is and move into that. The United States is not a corporation, okay? The United States was established with the Articles of Confederation that then went into the Constitution to amend some of the Articles of Confederation. And the Constitution is the United States. Okay, the United States of America is the Constitution. Okay, it's called the Constitution of the United States of America. Okay, and that was founded in 1787, September the 17th, 1787. Okay, in Philadelphia, Independence Hall, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It was ratified. Now, that was 84 years. You get it? 84 years. That's a holy number. Prior to the U.S. corporation that was founded in 1871. 1871. So where these people get in this nonsense of the United States as a corporation has to do with how you try to miss the point of truth just to fixate on your strong delusion of your white majority herd somehow being the Constitution, okay? As if you going to change what has been just by making it to fit your own needs and purpose, okay? So, like I said again, the Constitution of the United States of America was ratified in 1787. 1787. Okay? So that was prior, 84 years prior than what we call the U.S. Corporation, 15 ABC. Okay? Now, this myth of this two constitutions is really silly because the U.S. corporation don't say nothing about a constitution. It says the U.S. Corporation of Government of Washington, D.C. It didn't say anything about a constitution, and it doesn't have one amendment, so how the heck is going to be a second constitution? A constitution, the Constitution holds the bodies of law. The U.S. corporation don't have one amendment. It doesn't have one amendment. Even the Antichrist, Woodrow Wilson, when he wanted to form the birth of a new nation in 1913, between 1913 and 1915, he didn't go to the U.S. corporate mule of 1871. He tried to tag it on to the Constitution, because even this white supremacist racist knew there was only one Constitution. This white supremacist racist who tried to put idols on top of the Holy of Holies with the burning cross, his white horse and everything, knew that the wealth was Fort Knox within the Constitution, knew that the land was Fort Knox in the Constitution of the United States of America, and therefore he tried to tag other amendments to this. He didn't try to tag them to the U.S. corporation. The U.S. corporation don't have one amendment. So why do you insist on this myth of it being a second constitution and it doesn't have one body of law? Because amendments are body of law. The U.S. corporation have acts. They're acts of law. An act is just like a curtain. Once it's closed, you can close the act up. You can dilly-dally with act. They like blocks in the kindergarten. You can knock over, you can rewrite, you can, because really, constitutionally, if they don't coincide with the Constitution, they preemptively nullified anyway, unless they serve the Constitution, because the U.S. corporation is a subservient to the Constitution. So any acts that come out of it, if it is not acting in a subservient way to the Constitution, it is preemptively nullified by constitutional supremacy of non-consent jurisdiction that was established with the Reconstruction. See, because this has been a project where God has improved his standing of his holy covenant with each movement. I mean, he went from the Articles of Confederation to the Constitution of the United States of America. He reconstructed that because to abolish slavery, you had to get rid of consent jurisdiction to slavery, and therefore non-consent jurisdiction had to be supremed in the Constitution to abolish slavery. That meant the Constitution became non-consent jurisdiction. So when you hear constitutionalists talking about the Center for Constitutional Studies, the Center for Constitutional this, constitutional that, he's a constitutionalist, let me tell you something. If they're not talking about constitutional jurisdiction, they're not talking about constitutionality, because the jurisdiction is the key word with any real constitutionality. And if they're not talking about non-consent jurisdiction, which is CNJ, constitutional non-consent jurisdiction, they're not talking about the Constitution of the United States of America. They're talking about some carved out of the mule anus that they're trying to use acts to then try to make the acts equal from the mule to the Constitution, so that you have people running around in delusion and strong delusion talking about we got two constitutions. No, we ain't got no two constitutions, because I got three powerful words for you. Constitutional non-consent jurisdiction. That means it non-consents any other so-called constitution or equal bodies of law to it, okay? All you can do is keep on carving out your acts, playing with Stand Your Ground Act, Immigration Act, Act of this, Immigration Act, the Amnesty Act, the Act of that, Act of this, Act of that, Act of that. Because the Constitution, if it don't want the act, it preemptively nullifies it. Okay? If it doesn't serve the constitutional purpose, this is why all nations will serve Judah or they will perish, because Judah is the supreme non-consenting nation in the Constitution. But see, white folks and immigrants of all kinds, which is mostly white immigrants from all over Europe, Britain, and everything, wanted to take what you call the Won Kim Ark case, where this China man went to court in 1896 to try to claim a 14th citizenship right. They tried to find a corrupt judge, and the corrupt judges associated Won Kim Ark, this yellow man, with all Europeans. So that means Won Kim Ark, the yellow man, took all Europeans down as ever being citizens in this country, again, after Esau made sure they was not citizens either. Because I'm going to tell you what Esau did. He fought the Constitution for black codes. Thereby, Edomites had to continue to fight the Constitution and then try to carve out some kind of body in a mule anus, or the U.S. corporate mule that don't have one amendment. So this is where we're at. Won Kim Ark, by the time his case came in 1896, non-consent jurisdiction was already built in the Constitution. So it don't matter what they did outside the Constitution, because the jurisdiction was already non-consent, which means the 14th been non-consented since 1868 and sealed since 1870 along with the land, proving that the Union won the war. So everything else has just been a cover-up. The birth of a new nation and all that stuff has been a cover-up to try to act like the Union didn't win the war, that we've got competing competition, constitutional, that we got. The corporation, the U.S. corporation, 15 ABC, tells you 15 right there. It can't get past the 15th Amendment of American blacks' constitutionality, 15 ABC. You can't get past the 15th Amendment of American blacks' constitutionality. So when America has AAA credit, they're acknowledging that the blacks are the debt-free regenerating wealth, because non-consent means no debt is in the constitutional republic. Only the public is debtors. And they came usually after 1871, which is the U.S. corporation mule, and that's who they contract with as public debtors. Mule and mule acts only. There's not no U.S. corporation that competes with the United States Constitution. All land is with Constitution. And when it says U.S. corporation, that just means it serves and is subservient in a 10-mile radius, to the national constitutional republic, United States of America. Because that's called the U.S. corporate 15 ABC, Washington, D.C., 10-mile radius, okay? See, 10-mile radius could never compete with national constitutional non-consent jurisdiction of national and constitutional citizens who are also citizens in the state they reside. And I'm talking about black Americans, those who sit right in front of your face, eyes wide shut, that you don't want to see beyond your immigrant status and privilege, and you want to side, even at this late date, with cabals and everything for amnesty acts and homosexual descriptions of same-sex marriage and everything. You want to overlook that just to be with evil and the cabal and to not see past your white selfish and your immigrant selfish needs. You want to lay in bed with Satan. Well, you go right ahead and keep in your strong delusion of there being anything that can compete with the Constitution of the United States of America. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.